We have a number of dignitaries that are going to speak tonight that'll be more eloquent than me, but on behalf of the athletes and students of Bloomfield High School, I'd like to just start out by saying a thank you. And obviously a lot of people had to cooperate to make this happen, but the most important group was the citizens of Bloomfield who voted with their tax dollars in a very difficult economic time to build a facility like this for the youth of the town. So to them I say thank you. A lot of things have happened in the last few days as the project drew to its conclusion, and it took a lot of team effort, and I just want to make a couple of special thank yous. Shortly I'll make more allusions to the piece of steel we got from the World Trade Center, but a special thank you to Marty O'Boyle and O'Boyle Landscaping and the Bloomfield Police Department, who went to Brooklyn to pick that up for us, brought it back yesterday through thick and thin, and I really can't say enough about the efforts on their behalf. When our electrical hookup was in desperate straits because of all the bad weather, former Bengal Joe Saccone, who works for PSE&G, really pulled a few strings to make everything happen today. And if it wasn't for him, I'm afraid to say we probably wouldn't have the lights and all the things you see right now. So thanks to Joe. I'd like to welcome Mayor McCarthy and our town council members. Mary Shaughnessy and the members of the Board of Education, past and present. Ben Cantella and members of the Bloomfield Board of Recreation Commissioners. Al Crincoli and Mike Napolitano of the Foley Field Foundation. And I haven't seen them yet, but I want to make a special thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Kreco, who through their generosity, that scoreboard, which we think is one of the real cornerstones of this whole operation, was donated through the Krekos. Obviously, this is a joyous weekend for us, but we don't want to lose sight of the fact that this is also the weekend where we remember the events of 9/11. So I would just like if you would join me in standing for a brief moment of silence for those people who lost their lives in the events of that day. Please remain standing while our band leads us in God Bless America. Please be seated. The inclement weather has wreaked havoc on the band's practice schedule, although you couldn't tell by that performance. And tomorrow night, for the first time, the Bengal Marching Band will return to the field. I hope you could be here to support them. Tonight is not the formal dedication of the steel from the World Trade Center. The Bloomfield Recreation Department sponsors a 9/11 ceremony. It'll take place this Sunday on the green. They've been doing so for 10 years. For the families of those people from Bloomfield and really for everyone. But just on an informal basis, we'd like to give you the opportunity in the course of the night to visit over there. I'd like to unveil this plaque that we'll formally dedicate later. I hope my wife doesn't recognize this tablecloth. It says, "To honor all the lives that were lost and in recognition of the indomitable spirit of America." Dedicated September 2011. Bloomfield residents who lost their lives in the attack of 9/11/2001, Caesar Alvear, Catherine Nardello, and Daniel Rossetti. Before I turn the program over to our real MC, I'd just like to acknowledge three gentlemen who had a lot to do with the actual nuts and bolts of the operation. Mark Geeson, Jeff Morris, John Sensabaugh. Those are the architects and the creators of this whole operation, and John is actually the person who's been on site overseeing the whole operation. And if anyone's ever done work for you at home, you would like someone who takes as much pride in their operation and the skilled workmanship as John does. He's on site here, and he makes sure everything is of top grade that's been done here. So thanks to all of them. I'd like to now introduce the voice of the Bengals, Mr. Bruce Arlett.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to William L. Foley Field, home of your Bloomfield Bengals. At this time, I would like to recognize the Bloomfield High School Bengal Marching Band. And standing at the fence is our 2011 Bloomfield High School varsity and JV football squads. Last but certainly not least are the fabulous, and I do mean fabulous, Bloomfield High School varsity cheerleaders. We remind everyone that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. we christen the field with a victory over those pesky Buccaneers from Belleville. And if I'm not mistaken, that'll be the first of at least 7 consecutive victories on this field this season. At this time, I would like to bring up the Honorable Mayor of the Township of Bloomfield, Mr. Raymond McCarthy.
Thank you, Bruce. It's tough to get the mic away from Bruce every once in a while, but I appreciate it. Tonight is a very special day, and this is an event that has come together because of a number of people doing a number of things for one purpose, and that was for the purpose of Bloomfield. It was done without reservation. It was done compassionately. It was done vigorously, but most of all, it was done through the heart. So on my side, I know we're going to have the Board of Education, but I need to recognize some people who helped out. And council members, Bernard Hamilton, Councilmember Peggy Dunnigan, Councilman Nick Joanno, and someone who's helping us get some future money, Assemblywoman Cleopatra Tucker. Now, Steve said I had an hour to speak so the team can come off the field, so let's go on this. But I just want to say, this again, it's not just about sports. We say that in the rec department, but it's more than that. It's more about the heart of a community. It's about the history of a community. It's about those people who believe so hard and so vigorously that Foley Field had to be redone. But most of all, it's what this community responded to. This community, the community, and the family of Bloomfield, like I say, year after year after year, came together. They came together with the idea that in a time of economic pressure and in a time of economic failure for many, they were willing to say, we're going to do this. We're going to put money on the table so that this field, this beautiful field, can be done. You had the members of the town council. You had the members of the Board of Education. You had the recreation department. You had everyone together. And if there's one thing that we get from this, we get that this field is the true embodiment of Bloomfield. Its history is long. The people who came and played here are famous. The Frank Trapukas, just to name one. The Carter family. Plenty of people have come here. And at the end of the day, the spirit of those people, the trust of those people, the heart of those people, bring us back to put this field back together so that all the people of Bloomfield can look at it and say, we are one together, we have done it, and we are very, very proud of what we have done. So to all the people of Bloomfield, everyone here tonight, I thank you, I congratulate you, but most of all, I welcome you to an undefeated season.
He's got the right idea. At this time, we would like to bring up to the microphone Miss Mary Shaughnessy. Stage left.
Steve just asked me to say a few words about a half an hour ago, so this is very off the cuff. I want to double down on what the mayor said, thanking all of the people that he thanked, past board members, current board members, past council members, anybody that had a hand in making this happen. I see Mr. and Mrs. Kreco have just walked in, so we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for this incredibly beautiful scoreboard. Thank you so much. It's the crown of the field. It really it's very classy looking. Thank you so much. There's so many families here that are the bedrock of this community, and I know that there's unrecognized football players here that go back many years. I just spin around and look at Al, class of 57, and there's so many others that I know I'm missing. But the one person I want to look at here is Pat Carter, because of what Pat Carter represents to this town. Not just Pat Carter, but Pat Carter's family. I think that Pat Carter's family is the embodiment of Bloomfield, and it's the very, very, very best of Bloomfield. Pat Carter's dad, Johnny Gibson, was a 1928 Olympian. He practiced on this field. He taught our powerhouse football players punting. He was one of Coach Foley's trainers. Coach Foley came to Bloomfield High School from Gloucester, Massachusetts in 1915 and proceeded to create so many powerhouse teams that before the end of his tenure in 1936, they named this field after him while he was still an active coach. So this is for him too. We honor his memory here. I'm trying to think of the other significant events that happened here. 1948, we had a pre-trial decathlon Olympics happened right here. Al was in the audience. He watched them. So was Pat. Both of them described what it was like to sit in the stands and watch the pre-trial decathlon Olympics happen right here in our town. And I think that we can make them happen again. Pat, the Carter family had so many other people. She had sons and daughters that played on this field, children that marched on this field, a son who currently coaches on this field, a grandson who plays on this field. The Carter family is just their roots are deep and wide, and they've done so much for the town. And I just, when I think of Foley Field, I think of the Carters, and of course all the other people that have contributed so much. And I just I want to double down on the mayor's thank you to the taxpayers who really came through at a time when this referendum was passed. It was a time when many other municipalities had seen their budgets go down, and the fact that our budget not only did not go down, it was voted up, and the referendum was voted in is really an amazing testament to the people of Bloomfield and to the taxpayers and how supportive they are of this school. So I know we're going to have a fabulous season. We're off to a great start with tonight. So thank you so much.
If you notice, one of the underlying themes tonight, we're talking about family. And as Coach Carter and I have talked about many times, once you're a Bengal, you're always Bengal. And tonight, our football players, our cheerleaders, and our band, I want you to keep in mind the graduates of the class of 2010, who, when the referendum was voted down, became passionate and took it to the leaders of the town. They went to the board meetings, they went to the council meetings, and they pleaded their case. They went door to door with flyers, informing the public on what was going on and what needed to be done. So tonight, let's give a round of applause to the class of 2010. At this time, we'd like to bring up to the microphone Mr. Ben Catella.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Recreation, first I'd like to have every Board of Rec member stand up. I don't know how many are here. Can you please stand up? So everybody can, okay, we've got 3 here. But it's a great night. It's a great night for Bloomfield football fans. You don't have to go through the history of Foley Field. We know what it is, and we've dreamt a long time to see it come back like this. On behalf of the Board of Recreation, anything we could do, we'll continue to do. And all I could say as far as the history with Foley Field is, and this is to the new team for this year, just remember in 1938, Bloomfield was voted the high school football capital of the state of New Jersey. That's how we've been there. We've got to be there again. Thank you very much on behalf of the Board of Rec.
In 1938, Coach Carter was what, 4? At this time, we'd like to bring up Mr. Al Crincoli and Mr. Mike Napolitano.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. One of the things that I set out to do quite some number of years ago was to revitalize this particular piece of property and give back a heart that Bloomfield somehow or other had lost over a little bit of time. In that respect, I gathered myself with a bunch of really talented individuals in town that devoted their time and their efforts through the Foley Field Revitalization Committee to make this happen. I'd like to thank them, first of all, for their efforts, for their dedicated time. People like Mike Napolitano, Tony Tadaro, Matt Yar, who's back here somewhere, Al Glatz, Len Saluro, Carlos Correa, Mike McDonald, Tim Tarantino, Kim O'Reilly, Mary Shaughnessy, and a bunch of others that I've escaped there right now. But most of all, I need to thank the citizens of Bloomfield that essentially said, look, we have enough confidence in what you're attempting to do, and we're going to help you get there. We're here. So all I could ask of the football team is that give us a winning season, and all this will be worthwhile, and it will continue to be worthwhile. And what else is there to say but win?
Tonight is the beginning of a new era at Foley Field.
And for somebody who came through this school system, graduated in 1980, and saw it go through several phases, ending in its previous phase with the closure and the condemnation of the grandstands. It was a tremendously transcendent undertaking to get the town to understand where we were at Foley Field. And Bloomfield did it. Every one of you out there did it. This was an issue obviously so important, but as the mayor and everybody else has stated, President Shaughnessy, everybody who understood, no matter where they stand on an issue, where they stand in their day-to-day lives or opinions, Bloomfield, we have party opinions, disagreements, and agreements, but everybody who came to the table for Foley Field came together. Everybody has said tonight, and I'll also add my voice to that chorus, that we did this in the midst of probably one of the most challenging economic times that this township, this community has faced. People were out of work. Taxes are high. Services are tough to deliver. Budgets were failing. And yet somehow, when the people of this town really understood what was on the line for Foley Field, everybody put their differences aside and everybody came together. It's a testimony to our township. It's a testimony of what we all think about Foley. I wanted to mention John and Marion Krucko for donating the scoreboard through our Foley Field Foundation. They're right here, John and Marion. And going to the class of 1952, the Honorable Robert Pascal donated the flag park that you see adjacent to the scoreboard. I want to thank him. He's down in Delaware. He couldn't be with us tonight, but he sends his well wishes and his appreciation to all the people in Bloomfield. And with that, I'll stop consuming excess oxygen and let everybody move on. But to me, as a graduate of Bloomfield High School, a former Board of Education member, I want to say thank you to all the board members, every board president, every superintendent, every member of this council, and Mayor McCarthy himself, and all of our members on the Foley Field Foundation, Foley Field Revitalization Committee, and more importantly, all the students that went out and hit the doors. That's what made the difference. We all came together. Thank you very much.
This is indeed a great pleasure for me. There are two people here this evening who, outside of my family, have done more for my kids than anybody. They have cared about the youth in this town for longer than I've been in this town, for longer than a lot of us have been alive. It is my extreme honor and pleasure to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Krucko. And I'm going to ask them to say a few words. Stay where you're at.
I'm proud to be a part of this great field. It'll be my 40th year for my Junior Olympics. Joe Bloomfield kids from 5 to 12 years old. You know, I'm very happy that everything turned out so well. Thank you.
It's just a blessing to be here to see this. We've spent hundreds of hours in this field, and I never did I expect to see such magnificence. It's beautiful, and we're thankful that we could be a part of this.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Krucko. I ask a favor of the players, cheerleaders, band members. There's just 2 words. Go by, see Mr. and Mrs. Krucko, and just say, thank you. At this time, we would like to invite up our team representative, number 26, Michael Braun. Hope you move a little quicker on the field.
Good evening.
On behalf of the Bloomfield High School athletes, I would like to welcome you to the newly renovated Foley Field. Although what we have today isn't a finished product, it still symbolizes the outstanding effort put forth by those involved in these renovations. Foley Field also symbolizes the commitment to the community by the citizens of Bloomfield. For that, we would like to thank you. As athletes, we not only recognize Foley as our field, but as our home. As everyone knows, there is no place like home. People like to focus on what we don't have here. We don't have enough stands. We don't have bathrooms. We don't have parking. However, what we do have here outweighs any criticisms that the field may take. For the first time in our high school careers, we have a place to be proud of and a place we can call our own, Foley Field. Once again, thank you to all involved who are able to make this dream come true. Have a great night and welcome home, Bloomfield Bengals.
This time, I would just like to introduce two people who we may not have said hello to before, Superintendent Bing and Principal Jennings. Thank you for being here this evening. In closing our ceremony, I'm needing the help of the cheerleaders at this time. You can't be on Foley Field and not kick it off right without going, "Let's go Bengals!"
Let's go Bengals! Let's go Bengals! Let's go Bengals! Let's go Bengals! Let's go Bengals!
Oh, that sounds good. Thank you, Lou. At this time, I would like to turn the microphone back over to our athletic director, Mr. Stephen Jenkins.
I'd like to invite Mayor McCarthy and Board President Shaughnessy up for the ceremonial cutting of our ribbon. Don't run with these.
May I say one more thing? It would be remiss if we did not thank Business Administrator Michael Dadarian, the prickly business administrator that we all love and fear because he squeezes the penny so tight. We have to thank Mike because he really did open a vein for this place. Thank you, Michael Dadarian, wherever you are.
I have to interrupt you a second. At this time, there is just one more person I want to say thank you to. This person had an awful lot of great ideas for this field. He's got this athletic department going in directions we could never believe. He's been behind this 100%. He's not only my athletic director, he is my friend, Mr. Steve Jenkins. At this time, we ask everyone to please rise for the playing of the high school alma mater. And afterwards, we invite everyone to please tour the facilities. One thing we do ask, there is a roped off portion over on that side of the field. There are some lines laid down. We ask that you please don't walk on them. Anything else is accessible. Thank you everyone for coming, and our Bloomfield High School Bengal Marching Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time for the new Foley Field here in beautiful Bloomfield, New Jersey.
Can't shoulder it.
Well, welcome to the new Foley Field. I just want to thank everyone that's been involved, from Steve Jenkins, Mike Napolitano, Alfred Coley, Al Glatz, Bernard Hamilton, and Peggy Dunnigan, Nick Joanno for their help, and to Board President Mary Shaughnessy. You know, this has been a great accomplishment. We've worked for about 2 years now on this, and it is part and parcel of what Bloomfield's all about. We needed to get this back. We pleaded to the people of Bloomfield, and like I've said for a long time, the family of Bloomfield are the ones who really felt that this had to be done. In an economic time that was very, very, very depressed, we were able to get the money to do this. The people came out, put the money on the table. So this is not just an athletic event. This is a community event. This is what being a community is all about. The people of Bloomfield have come together. They put their hearts, their souls, and everything into this project. And I just want to say one thing, too. It's more than just a field, as I said in my speech earlier. It's all about oneness. It's all about the compassion, and it's about the well-being of the people of Bloomfield, who knew that the history that was here was part of Bloomfield. The people of the past were part of Bloomfield. And what it does, it gives us a future in Bloomfield. These kids have been deprived of a football field for 2 years, and there's no program in the country that I could think of that would have gone this long. So to everyone that was involved, I thank you, but most of all, my thanks go out to the people of Bloomfield. Once again, you show that you are the class of this state, and you've done things that some people were not willing to do, but you stuck in, you did it, so thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good evening. This is Brendan Gill, State Director for Senator Frank Lautenberg. It's a pleasure to be here this evening on the dedication and opening of Foley Field. Pleasure to be with our Mayor, Ray McCarthy, all the members of the Council, members of the Board of Education, and members of the Bloomfield community at large. I grew up and spent many a Thanksgiving Day at Foley Field. And I don't know if I should say this, but I'm a lifelong and current Montclair resident. And Montclair and Bloomfield are the best of rivals and have a great tradition and a great Thanksgiving Day tradition. But most important, and that's why I took the time to be here this evening and why it's such a pleasure to be here this evening, is the source of pride that Foley Field will continue to be for the Bloomfield community at large and for Essex County at large. It's important to be proud of where you're from, and a place like this with all of its athletic and football tradition, which is important, but also what it means to the community. So when you drive by, you can take pride in what you see and what you see here tonight. And it's just a real pleasure to be here with everyone, to be a part of that great tradition, that Bloomfield tradition, the families that were mentioned this evening, whether it be the Trapucas, the Carters, Foley, all of those families that make up the rich fabric of the community of Bloomfield. And I'm really just overjoyed and overwhelmed to be here with everyone this evening. So looking forward to seeing everyone out there tomorrow night when Bloomfield takes on those pesky Belleville Buccaneers, and looking forward to seeing everyone for years to come at Foley Field. Thanks again.
Hey Bloomfield, how you doing? This is Councilman Hamilton. I just want to thank you for your effort in bringing this field to fruition. This is what we call truly a community effort. We thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, personally. This field had my 100% support from day one. I want you to know that this field will never amount to the investment that you made to years to come. The kids that's going to run and play and jump on this field, the tournaments and meets that's going to be here in the future is priceless of what you invested here today. This is truly a community effort, and once again, as councilman in the Township of Bloomfield, I thank you very much. There's a lot of support, there's a lot of people behind this, but mainly it was you, the residents of Bloomfield, who brought this to fruition. Thank you again.
Hi, one more public service announcement I've got for you tonight. If you come into tomorrow night's game, the Key Club is going to be selling shirts. I'm going to show them to you. that commemorate the opening of the stadium tomorrow night. They're $10, and the funds go to the William Foley Football League. So if you come down, buy a shirt, and put that to a good cause. Okay? Thanks a lot.
Foley Field finally came back. Took us a couple years to do it. We enjoy having this field for opening night against Friday against Belleville, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season.
The new Foley Field, we're excited to play on it. A lot of people will be here, expect to have a good season, and we're just excited for tomorrow. Ready to win.